Hi, my name is Peter. This is Yen, and this is Eileen. So, one of the most important factors in our everyday lives is energy, and there are many forms of energy. And one of the main abundant, reliable, and pollution-free energy sources is solar energy. So why aren't we using solar energy if it's pollutant-free, abundant, and reliable? We're still using fossil fuels and other methods of energy production, such as hydrofuel and wind energy. Well, solar energy is made out of silicon, which is a expensive material because it doesn't react to oxygen, water, and acid. And silicon is very fragile when it's rigid, and it's really difficult to fabricate. So in Tuesday's experiment, we worked with an alternative way of solar cells, which are dye-sensitized solar cells. Dye-sensitized solar cells are inexpensive, but are lower efficiencies, 50% less efficiency, and are less stable.
Okay, so look at this picture. So this picture is a gumball machine. Sorry, how do I? Okay. So as we can see, this machine is approximately divided into 3 parts, and this part, there is a box that provides electrons to, gumballs to the machine. Sorry, spoiler. And and this part is the this part provides the gumball to the next state, and there is a platform, and the gumball lands on the platform, and the platform rises to a higher state. So the gumballs then transfer to this column, and it cannot be seen very clear, but I assume that there are a lot of tubes, so the gumball pass through the tubes to the this outlet over here, so it can be further delivered to the consumer. So how is this related to a solar cell? This is actually, this diagram presents the entire process of how a solar cell works. So first, this box here is the iodine. So in the experiment, we use iodine ion solution to provide the electrons to the circuit. And this part is the electrolyte. So the iodine replace the gumball, aka the electrons, to the electrolyte to replace the gumballs that had been sold out. So here, this column is a die. So when the electrons reaches the die, so the die actually brings the energy state of the electrons from ground state to a higher state. So here the electrons actually have more energy. And this column, I assume the artist of this drawing is trying to represent the TiO2. So the TiO2 is actually where nanoscience comes in play to the solar cell. So I guess this long tubes represents the large surface area of these TiO2 particles because, as mentioned before, nanoparticles have extremely large surface area. And in this case, the large surface area is very helpful to the efficiency of the solar cell is because the surface area actually can, so more dye can be applied to the surface area. So yes, so here there are 4 outlets of the gumballs, so I guess it means it is more efficient after the process of nanoparticles. And here we can see that there's a hand trying to put in a 10-cent coin into the machine, And here it says a quarter coin is not accepted. This is related to the wavelength. And the wavelength is closely related to the dye. And the dye is have different colors. So in our experiment, the dye was red. So it mainly absorbs the green light. So only 10 cents coin can be accepted.
Well, so there's two components that this author, I guess, didn't include, which was very important. This author didn't show voltage versus current. Voltage is how much energy is per electron, while current is the amount, how many electrons are being collected. Well, and this author did really good in showing that it's a solar cell by showing it's a cycle, because the solar cell, the way it works is just like a cycle, and I think this illustrator did it really well. And the other thing that this illustrator did really well was showing the components of the dye and the iodine and this silver nitrate. However, just like I said before, this author, the illustrator, wasn't very clear about, didn't show the voltage and the current. So I think if the illustrator did that better, it would have been a really nice representation of a solar cell. Is there any questions?
We had to make it transparent so on the drawing. So what represents the sun on the drawing? The box represents the electrons that are being resupplied.
So here's the deal. So I guess there are different interpretations about the coin, but at first we assumed that the coin was a sunlight, but then we realized that the artist wasn't trying to present sunlight as in coins, because there is a quarter coin that you cannot use, and there is no sunlight that you cannot use. So I guess the artist didn't include sunlight in this drawing. Then.
It interacts with the dye. Tell me anything about the dye. Well, the dye we used in the experiment was raspberry juice, so it absorbs all colors except red, and it reflects red back to our.
So now tell me something about what colors of light you can't use.
Well, white is an example of a color that you can't use because it doesn't absorb any.
White is all color.
It doesn't.
So you just told me. So just tell me again. What's an example of colors you can't use? All right. What color didn't you use? The raspberry.
The raspberry juice reflected green light. Reflected green light.
Well, what did it look? What color did it look?
Oh.
To your eye.
Red.
So what color did it reflect back to your eye?
Oh, red.
So what color didn't it use?
Green.
Red. So, so the dye we used in the experiment was red, so I guess we cannot use red light.
So 25 cents equals
Red light. Right. So, so like there is no sunlight in the drawing. Am I right?
There is sunlight.
Oh, so, I see. Okay.
As the next group is coming down, can the artist behind this one please say if anything was left out? So the bigger tube was the transparent conductor. Okay, cool. Thank you.